What's going on? What's going on, everybody? This is AV.WATCHMEN, and you guys are tuned in to AV United We Stand. So today we are going to take a look at the interview that was conducted by the LA County Sheriff's Department in regards to Monique Figueroa. This is going to be an older interview, obviously, back in 2015. But we're going to go ahead and compare this interview with Mr. Figueroa's interviews and that video I just put out yesterday about the location where her vehicle was at in the beginning, but yet it was moved. We're going to go ahead and get into all that right after this.
Get ready to the countdown.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at this interview. Once again, this is back in 2015. And word on the street was that supposedly Monique was going to testify and become an informant. We'll get into that in a little bit, but let's go ahead. You guys are going to hear this sheriff's deputy state that 2 times in this video that she was not an informant. There's a reason why he says it 2 times. Let's just get to it real quick.
Good morning. My name is Lieutenant Steve Yock of the LA Sheriff's Homicide Bureau, and up here with me is Detective Division Chief Earl Shields, as well as Captain Reed, and my 2 detectives from Homicide Bureau, Detective Shanka and Detective Holston. And we're here to talk about the disappearance of a woman who disappeared last year by the name of Monique Figueroa. Last May, Monique was last seen at her home that she shared with her father in Palmdale. Monique is the mother of a 3-year-old little girl, and the last time she was seen was May 19th, 2015. Her vehicle was found a short time after her disappearance at a rural area in Palmdale. There were some items found in the vehicle, and based on where the vehicle was found, we suspect there's foul play involved in her disappearance. And because of the graciousness of the LA County Board of Supervisors, a $10,000 reward is being offered for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for Monique's disappearance. Detectives since last May have put a lot of time in trying to locate Monique. We've worked with several folks in the community up there. We have conducted multiple digs for her for any possible remains in a couple of different locations up in Palmdale, Lancaster area. Cadaver dogs were used. Just recently, in the last month, we had an extensive operation on a large piece of property in the Little Rock area where cadaver dogs were used. Members of the SORT team from the coroner's office were used, and at this point, the search has met with negative results.
Let's talk about that real quick. So here he's saying that they did a search here, they did a search there, and they actually used cadaver dogs. But where they didn't search was the house. The house on the video you just watched. And if you haven't watched it, I'll go ahead and it'll be on the end screen of this video. It'll pop up probably in the upper right-hand corner. Go ahead and click on that video. And that's going to be the one with Mr. Figueroa with the background of a mountain. And then I'll put his other video up as well, the interview at his house. So what this deputy detective is not saying is that her car was at the property where we were at yesterday. It was there first, and then her car was moved. This is a ballpark figure, about 4 to 5 miles, maybe 6 miles away. And it was moved to a field that happens to be right next door to a deputy. Okay. And the tow truck driver that moved her car lives next door to the deputy. The guy that owns the property way out there in Juniper Hills, the one that was using the backhoe to put in some water lines, he's the one that had the car moved. And he also has a property directly across the street from this deputy, including the tow truck driver. Go figure that one out. Here in this interview, they're not going to talk about that. They're not going to talk about how Mr. John Gallegos, the owner of the properties, how he moved. From what I understand, from what I'm being told, this is stuff I just found out yesterday, is Mr. John Gallegos moved her Mercedes from that garage, that broken down garage at that abandoned house, or that house that just nobody's lived in forever, and it was moved to another location. And he moved it knowing that it was already reported in a case, a missing persons case.
So at this point, we're going to rely on the community to assist us once again. And we're making a plea to anybody that has any information regarding your disappearance to contact their local police department, local sheriff's department, or contact LA Sheriff Homicide Bureau at 323-890-5500. Ask for my detectives, Detective Holston and Detective Shanka, and any information they can provide, we would be more than much more than willing to listen to what they have to say. If anybody has any questions.
So this is going to be Detective Shanka. This is the one that Mr. Figueroa keeps talking about. And I guess, I mean, he truly feels like they have done nothing to find his daughter. Yeah, they've came out a few times. You just heard him say that they brought cadaver dogs out. But why aren't they searching that property where the house is at? What's going on with this other guy, John Gallegos, to where they will not go to his property knowing that he moved her car to another location and then it was reported? So I want to apologize. It's not my fault. I can't get the audio up any higher. The questions that members of the press have for them back in 2015, you can't really hear what's being said. But what I'll do is, as well, I'm going to share the link to this video in the description section. So you guys make sure you check out the description as well. There'll be more information there.
I've been asked that question several times. Monique Figueroa was connected to a man by the name of David McKell, who's also from the Palmdale area. And last February 2015, Mr. McKell shot and killed a man in the Palmdale area. He was subsequently arrested prior to Monique's disappearance. Ultimately, last December, he pled guilty and was sentenced to 25 years to life for that murder prior February. I want it to be clear that when homicide detectives approached Monique to interview her about that murder involving her boyfriend, David McKell, she refused to speak with detectives. She's never been an informant, and she flatly refused to cooperate in the murder investigation involving her boyfriend.
Now, that's the first time you're going to hear him bring that up, but he's going to bring it up again. The rumor on the street is that Monique was cooperating with cops, and it seems like that information came from cops. I don't know which deputies. I don't have their names. I don't know this to be an actual fact, but this is what I'm being told. I have seen things like that happen where it's an old trick that that cops like to use. They'll play one another against each other. And if you don't cooperate, I've seen this happen where if you don't cooperate with the deputies, they will go out in the street and tell someone like, hey, you know what? How come you're not cooperating with us? Monique already told us everything. And when they do that, they don't realize that they're putting people's lives in danger. This could be the outcome of something that a deputy said to someone. And is that deputy losing sleep over it? Most likely not.
As I said, her vehicle was recovered shortly after her disappearance on a farm. It was suspicious, the area that it was recovered from. We had our crime lab folks respond. They did a biopsy on that car. They scoured the car. We spent a lot of time doing what we could to recover whatever evidence was in that car. We still have the car in our custody. In the event that we find folks that can provide additional information, we can refer back to that car. We've located some folks that were most likely one of the last few people that spoke to Monique prior to her disappearance. And again, there's a lot of theories as to what may have happened to her, but as it is, we're treating this as a very suspicious disappearance. And as it is, we just have not been able to, we haven't found any human remains relating to this investigation. As I said, she's got a 3-year-old daughter that is actually being cared for by the child's father, who also resides in the PALMDALE, Lancaster area. And as I said, if anybody has any information, we'd like to hear from them.
And prior interviews with the,
from what I understand, people have already given the sheriff's department information. Like, I really want to know what's up with that. How did this guy move her vehicle from that location to another location, right? How did he do that? And it was okay. It was all good. Like, hey, it's all right. Don't even worry about it, man. Let's just, take it from here and somewhere where it could have been the murder location where her body might actually be at. Oh, it's all right. Don't even worry about it. Just go ahead. Go ahead. Pull it out there. And not one time are you going to hear them talk about that. Not one time are you going to hear him say, well, her car was moved from this location to over here. You're not going to hear that.
they seem to believe that her boyfriend could be suspected of having a hand in what happened. I got a little late to press that. Are you as a possible suspect? I'm hearing gang ties, drug dealing. She was targeted and it was a hit.
Yeah, as I said earlier, he's pleaded guilty. He pled guilty in December to a murder he was involved in last February. Detectives have interviewed him. We certainly wouldn't rule out his involvement. At this point, we won't rule out anybody's involvement. We do have our focus on certain individuals that I just can't share right now any more about their identity, but there's all kinds of possibilities. Regardless of what Monique may have been involved in, we are not going to treat this investigation with any less vigor than we would anybody else. If a card-carrying gang member is shot and killed, we go after his killer like we do any other murder investigation. As I said, there are many theories, but I want it to be known that Monique was not an informant in her boyfriend's murder investigation.
There it is again. 2 times now he said that. because that was the word out there on the street, and that word got put out there, from what I'm being told, once again, by deputies or a deputy. And what he just said right now, that it doesn't matter who was killed, right? Whether it be, Monique here or someone else or any gang member, they're going to treat every investigation the same. That is a lie. If it is one of their own, they are going to comb every single street, and every department will be involved. They will be out there ready to find this person that killed one of their own. So I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. I've seen it myself. Some of you guys might have seen that as well. They're not going to allow someone here. The deputy's car was parked at this property, and then it was moved to another property and then called in. They're not going to fall for that. They're going to sit there and tear that whole house up where the deputy's car was at. But with Monique, they didn't do that. And another thing is, they're not going to sit here and make excuses. If it was a deputy, they're not going to sit there and say, well, homicide is all the way out here in downtown LA. It takes us an hour and a half to drive from here to Little Rock, and we just can't keep doing it. Yeah, right. If it was a deputy, they would continue to do it over and over and over and over and over. Now, look, maybe they came up here 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, even 10 times. Like he said, they came out, they had cadaver dogs and everything else. Negative results. But not one time have they tried taking those cadaver dogs to that property where the Mercedes was first at.
To simplify things as much as I can, we're in the business of homicide of solving crimes and finding missing people. Some cases are easier to solve than others. And this has been a tough one, but not because of the lack of effort, because of the detectives. They spend a lot of time in the high desert trying to find folks that have information. As I said, we've done these digs in concert with the coroner's office, some cadaver dogs. We haven't met with any positive results so far, but that's the reason why we're turning the community. Hopefully they can come to assist us and give us some information, and we can go from there.
And this may be a silly question. Initially, she was deemed missing. What makes you think she's dead?
We suspect foul play based on where her vehicle was found. She actually was last seen on May 19th at home. Her father reported her formally missing on May 24th. Her vehicle was found shortly thereafter, and the condition the vehicle was found in, some things found in the vehicle, and where the vehicle was found in a rural part of the high desert, it's certainly suspicious. Homicide detectives are...
Well, yeah, don't you think? It is suspicious. The car was moved, and it was placed directly next door to one of your own, to a sheriff's deputy where he lives at. The car was placed right next door to him. The tow truck driver that took the car lives next door to that deputy.
Responsible for investigating missing persons, and it is still a missing persons case with a lot of potential foul play involved.
You're saying there's evidence that points to not only missing person, but it's quite possible evidence that she was murdered.
She hasn't been seen in over a year by family. We checked bank records, we checked phone records. There's been no sign of her. It's suspicious in nature, to say the least. So we are treating it as a suspicious missing person investigation. I'll stop short of saying it's a homicide investigation because, as I said, we haven't found a body, and there has, for all the folks we've talked to, all I can tell you right now is it's just suspicious in nature as regarding her disappearance. I'd rather not say what the information we developed so far, but I won't rule out that she's been murdered, but we're going to need some other evidence to substantiate that.
Does the car show any signs of a struggle or any injury?
I'm going to stop short of sharing that information with you, but where the car was found, we found some private property, and those folks that resided there eventually alerted us to the car. There were some things found in the car that are suspicious in nature, and I'll have to stop there.
What helped you zero in on some of the dig spots that you worked on?
We received some information from some folks who said that they believe that her remains may be found there, and both detectives spent some time up there with our SORT team, with cadaver dogs. We used a work crew to dig extensively, and cadaver dogs have proved reliable in the past. It's something that we use frequently. In this particular case, we haven't had positive results yet, but the investigation's ongoing, and we're not done up there.
Is it the $2,000 reward that's happening for the voting today?
I want folks to know, a lot of times these rewards can incite cooperation. I want to make sure everybody's aware that there is a monetary reward out there, but at the same time, because of the location of where she's from, some of the stories don't make it out. And I want everybody to be aware that she's been missing in case they don't, and maybe they've got something to share. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
So you guys let me know what you think down below in the comment section. I will share the link to this video in the description. I don't know, man. I don't know. If you guys haven't done so yet, please check out the interview I did with Mr. Figueroa. Let's see if we can find that real quick, as a matter of fact. So here it is here. I uploaded it 1 day ago. Monique Figueroa, a call for help. And at the end of it, you'll see it says at Court TV. Now, the reason why I'm starting to tag videos with the at Court TV or at America's Most Wanted is because with the boys, if you haven't heard, I'm sure everybody has already here on the channel. We have 2 little missing boys that came up missing from California City, California. And if it wasn't for all of you guys sharing the videos, spreading the word, contacting America's Most Wanted, contacting Court TV, we would not have never been able to get their story on those platforms. So this is another call for help. All of you guys out there, if you guys can please, don't just look at the videos, don't just watch them, share them. Share them on your social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, here on YouTube, whatever you have. Let's spread the word that Monique Figueroa still has not been found. Let's spread the word that Gloria Huerta has still not been found. And of course, continue to spread the word about the boys. They have still not been found as well. I'm going to go ahead on the end screen of this video. I'm going to go ahead. If you haven't seen this interview yet, Monique Figueroa, a call for help. It should pop up somewhere in the upper right-hand corner of the screen for the end screen, just go ahead and click on that, and it'll take you directly to this video. And I will share the video from yesterday as well. Let me see if I can find it, which is going to be this one right here. Something isn't right with this case. I will go ahead and share this video also, which will most likely pop up somewhere over here on the upper left corner of the screen. All you got to do is click it, and it'll take you right to the video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please feel free to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and set it to all notifications. I want to say thank you to each and every last one of you guys who has shown nothing but continuous love and support. I do appreciate you guys. I do love you guys. And I do thank you guys for everything that you guys have done. If it wasn't for you guys, none of this would be possible. Spreading the word, getting it out there, and everything else like that. Yes, I drive everywhere. Yes, I'm on the road constantly, opening up my platform to try to help folks, try to keep their kids' cases open, and just bring more awareness to the public. And so I do thank you guys. If anybody wants to get a hold of me, please contact me right there at AV.WATCHMEN@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of Mr. Figueroa, Mr. Figueroa already said that it is okay to leave his phone number. His phone number is already out there everywhere. And his number is 661-944-7805. Now, as most of you guys should know, a lot of you guys who have been following from day one, you have seen some stuff happen here on this channel. There has been people that has called witnesses and has pretty much, I don't want to say the word threatened, but they've pretty much said some things to them to make witnesses back away from the cases, not want to talk about some stuff. There are some very nasty, shady people here in the world of YouTube. So for Mr. Figueroa, if you start getting calls from certain people, if it's a guy calling you, most likely it will be, please let me know immediately, because if it's a person calling you saying some crazy crap, let me know immediately. That way we can contact the proper authorities, because there are some crazy stalkers out there, people. All right, guys, it's AV Watchmen, and you guys are tuned into AV United We Stand. And on that note, you guys please like, share, and subscribe. I will be bringing out another video maybe this afternoon involving Monique Figueroa. And this video, the next one that's going to be coming out, we're going to talk about a song that I believe it was her cousin, a song that her cousin wrote describing how Monique was going to be killed. And 1 week later, if I recall correctly, or 2 weeks later, she's gone. Catch you soon.
I smell bullshit.